Okay, hello and welcome to another Jeff.
What the fuck am I saying?
My name's Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
Some of the best workout advice I have heard this freaking year from Jeff Nippard, the man himself. I know I've been banging on Jeff quite a bit, criticizing, pushing back. We don't see eye to eye in our training philosophy.
I am a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied by that.
And that's okay. A healthy debate, pushback, back and forth. It's not a bad thing. Overall, he's a good dude. But in this case, absolutely dropping some freaking truth bombs when it comes to training. Let's get into the piece of content.
I'm going to save you 30 minutes off your next workout with 3 simple tips, and it won't cost you any gains. First, stop resting in between your warm-up sets. Seriously, they're just warm-up sets, so by definition, they shouldn't have you anywhere close to failure. Your muscles don't need a rest. Just go from one warm-up set right into another. Then start resting right before your first working set. This should save you about 10 minutes across the whole workout.
Okay, number one, the fact that we're talking about warm-up sets is amazing. This is one of the most overlooked training aspects that most people don't even include in their programming. Generally speaking, I think the first exercise you do for a given muscle group, you should do 3 to 6 warm-up sets where you start with a light weight and do like 4 to 6 reps. And you're just focusing on your form, you're just priming the muscle, and you're giving yourself a chance to screen for injury.
Stop resting in between your warm-up sets. Seriously, they're just warm-up sets.
If you follow my recommendation of primarily doing a substantial amount of warm-up sets, but just doing them before your first movements of a workout, you're probably not going to save that much time by cutting out the rest times. And I would argue it's probably going to hurt you more because we don't want to incur any fatigue in the warm-up sets, because those first couple working sets, you want to be able to perform at your maximum. So you don't want to be tired at all. Not resting during your warm-up sets, even though you're not pushing to failure, you're still going to incur some fatigue if you just blast through 3 warm-up sets. You do your first set of curls with the 15-pound dumbbells, immediately pick up the 25s, immediately pick up the 35s, and then take a 1 or 2 minute rest and hit your set of 45s. I would argue you're going to have a little bit of fatigue happening from not putting in a short, let's say 30 to 60 second rest time in between each one of your warm-up sets, and then not doing warm-up sets before all of your exercises throughout the rest of the workout routine, or at most just doing one warm-up set to familiarize yourself with the exercise. I think there's more to gain by having a short, brief rest period in between each warm-up set. And spend an extra 2 minutes in the gym than there is to cutting it out. On any given day, you may have a little twinge, a little tweak here and there, and that can lead to a catastrophic injury if you go in and try to train really heavy. If your shoulder's a little cranky and you just go to blast overhead presses immediately without warming up, you might tear something and be out for a couple months. So warm-up sets are a extremely effective way to vastly reduce your risk of injury because it warms up your muscles, and 2, it gives you the opportunity to assess and screen for any issues you might be having. During the warm-up sets, if you notice your shoulder, your knee, something is bugging you, maybe you can work it out through the warm-up sets. Maybe you do some mobility exercises to loosen that up and it still goes. Or maybe you realize that my knee's just not feeling good today. I got to back off and just do lightweight, or potentially just leave the gym and come back the next day. All of those options are vastly better than pushing to the max out of the gate, hurting yourself. Nothing is going to kill your gains more than a freaking injury. You want to get a big set of pipes this year? You know where to go. ARM program. Do it now.
2, use separated supersets. This is when you pair 2 exercises that target different muscles without resting in between. If you superset your tricep press downs with bicep curls, your biceps are curling while your triceps are resting. A new study found this reduced workout time by 25 minutes without sacrificing gains.
The superset structure, I would argue, is hands down a superior way to train. 100% for your arms. You hit your triceps, you rest a couple minutes. You hit your biceps, you rest a couple minutes, and you repeat that round multiple times, maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Get a good amount of volume in. The reason it's so beneficial is because I've seen, for the most part, a longer rest time is going to be better for your gains. When you push a set to maximum failure for your triceps, it's going to be better to rest 5 minutes than it would be 2 minutes. But we don't want to just sit there for 5 minutes, especially if you're somebody who doesn't have a lot of time in the gym. So we can train the opposing muscle of the biceps during that rest period. So we hit the triceps, we rest 2 minutes, which is a reasonable amount of time. Catch your breath, chill out for a minute, get focused, find a good song, go hit your biceps. Biceps takes 30 seconds, rest another 2 minutes. By the time we get back to your next set of triceps, you've rested 4 to 5 minutes for that muscle. And then you're going to be much more productive in that next round and then the subsequent rounds afterwards. Given that this is the case, even if you're strapped for time and you just want to rest 1 minute in between your exercises, you're still going to have a reasonably extended rest time in between hitting each muscle, and you're going to be able to execute many more productive sets where you're moving more weight for more reps with more intensity because the fatigue from your previous sets hasn't spilled over into the later sets in your workout. So overall, the workout is going to be more potent at producing muscle growth. In my experience, that's what I've seen. Having tried doing a ton of workouts with really short rest times and then workouts with longer rest times, I always saw the longer rest time workouts to produce more growth. But of course, we don't want to just sit in the gym for 5 minutes in between sets, maybe not even 3 or 4 minutes. So the superset structure with opposing muscle groups is an extremely effective way to do this. You could do the same thing with your chest, your back, and your shoulders. You pair a pushing movement with a pulling movement. You want to do lat pull down. You do your set of lat pull down all the way to failure. You get 13 reps, let's say. You take a 2-minute rest. You grab some dumbbells standing right next to the lat pull down, and you do overhead presses for you get 14 reps with whatever weight you're using. And then you rest another 2 minutes. Your back muscles, your forearms, your biceps, your lats, the rest of your back has had 4 to 5 minutes of time to recover so that you can attack the next set with a close to a similar amount of strength and output as the previous set. And the intensity will also be higher. And you're going to, over time, produce more muscle growth, in my opinion. You could kind of mimic it with legs. It's going to be a little bit trickier because not as many of the muscle groups are opposing. But if you're doing, seated quad extensions, you could superset that with seated hamstring curls so that you can, again, take advantage of letting the quads rest for 4 to 5 minutes. Take a 2-minute rest, go do the hamstring curls, 2-minute rest, come back. The quads are going to have a lot more juice for that next set, and you're going to get more out of it, as opposed to straight sets where you just do your seated quad extensions and then rest 2 minutes. That next set, you're not going to get nearly as many reps. Your intensity is not going to be as high. And although maybe the burn or the pump or something will be better, overall, to me, again and again, I just saw that to not be nearly as productive as for muscle growth compared to using a longer rest time. And if you don't care about sitting around for 5 minutes, then in theory, straight sets could actually be better because you're not exerting any energy during that rest time. You're just resting, so that next set might be even more productive. But the downside is then your workouts are going to be extremely long, and you're going to spend a ton of time in the gym. 2 extremely important yet simple concepts around lifting: warm-up sets and supersets. An incredibly valuable piece of content from Jeff Nippard. Absolutely love it, brother. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.